Hi, we're working on the week 6 homeworks, and we are still in chapter 11, but we're going to move on to the second homework problem in Connect that is equivalent to problem 11-22 on page 531 of your book. So if you want to look in your book and see this problem or watch as I work it on Connect, that's fine. It's the second homework problem in Connect for week 6. All right, and I'm going to share my screen so that you guys can see my Connect. Okay, all righty. So here in Connect, it's got this problem, and we've been talking about responsibility centers and how to make decisions about them. And so in this case, we've got a service department, the cafeteria. All right, so we've got two divisions, auto and truck, and there's a cafeteria, and they just pay for everybody's meals. So that's pretty cool. The cost for the cafeteria, $40,000 plus $3 per meal. So there's your fixed, there's your variable, and of course these are, I guess, what we'd call standard costs, right? This is what they're estimating it will be. So $3 variable cost. So every person who gets a meal, we're going to charge $3 to the division, and this 40 will split up between the two divisions. So how do they split up that 40? Well, they decide they go by peak period requirements. Auto division is responsible for 65% and truck is for 35%. So this 40,000 gets split 65% auto, 35% truck. All right, when we're allocating it based on our standard costs. A thing does happen. They had estimated 35,000 and truck said it would need 20. However, only 20,000 meals were served to auto and then 20. So it didn't quite turn out. They actually wound up more 50-50. And the actual costs ended up 42,000 and the variable cost totaled 128,000. All right, so two things. How much cafeteria costs should be charged to each division for June? And then assume the company follows the practice of allocating all cafeteria costs in proportion to number of meals served. Okay, so question 1 deals with how much should we charge based on, right, 40 per month plus 3 per meal. Auto gets 65%, truck gets 35%, which may or may not be fair, right, based on how we know it turned out. But here's how we're allocating it. All right, so we're gonna have to split this 40,000, 65% to auto, 35% to truck, and then however many meals, 20,000 and 20,000 at $3 per meal. Okay, so let's calculate that out, and then we'll talk about the question 2. So here's number 1. How much should be charged to each division? And that's based on this guy plus selling plus 28,000 each. All right, so the variable costs. So here we got the two divisions, and we'll just do a column. So automobile division had $3 per meal times 20,000 meals. So they get allocated 60,000 in the variable costs. And truck, it's the same. They had 20,000 meals, and it's $3 per meal. Right? So variable costs are the same. So on fixed costs for auto, right, we were saying fixed costs are 40 times 65%. So 40 times 0.65 is equal to 26,000. All right, and we're saying for truck, they get 35% of the charges. So 40,000 times 0.35 is equal to 14,000. So when we add our columns, so auto division is going to get charged $86,000, and truck division is going to get charged $74,000. Now, as we look at this and we compare it to actual stuff, right, we can see that we've only charged $40,000 for fixed costs when they were actually $42,000, right? And we can see that we, if you add up the variable, they add up to 120,000, 120,000, but the meals cost 128,000. So we have a $2,000 fixed cost variance and a $8,000 variable variance. So we've got these spending variances that aren't being accounted for when we do this, right? So let's do this. So but we need to still fill in this, right? This is number one. So total cost charged to auto is 86,000. And the total cost charged to truck was 74,000. All right. So now we're going to do this, total costs allocated. Okay, so assume they practice allocating all costs, right? Instead of ending up with this variance of 2,000 spending variance on the fixed and 8,000 spending variance on the meal variable costs. We just want to allocate all the actual costs. So we're just going to say we're going to spread this fixed cost out based on how many meals your division took, right? So each division had the same number of meals, 20,000. So how much would each be allocated to each division for June? So proportionally, we're 50-50, right? When we did this first go round, they did 65-35, right? So now we're gonna just total everything and split it 50-50. It doesn't really matter which which division is which. We would total everything and then weight it by the number of meals each took. Now, it just so happens in this case, they took 50% each. But, you know, if it was, say, one had taken 10,000 meals and one had taken 30,000 meals, right? So then that would be 25-75, right? So you would allocate, you just total it and allocate it based on what percentage of meals each got. So our actual variable cost, they told us, was 128,000, and our actual fixed cost, they told us, was actually 42,000. And so when you add those up, they add up to 170,000. All right, so there you go. And of course, that divided by 2, or I suppose like to make it make more sense, times 0.5, right? So this would be the truck allocation. They're getting 50%. 170 divided by 2 equals 85,000. Of course, you do the same thing for cars. 170 times 0.50 is 85. But I mean, we already know 50-50 is 85. But you know, if it wasn't, right? So if it was like I had said before, truck actually did 75% of the meals, you'd take 170 times 75 and 170 times 0.25 and get your answers. All right. So, but in this case, they were even Steven. So that's 85,000 and 85,000. So quite different. Definitely more fair to auto division. And, you know, they got it tough. They had a layoff. So that seems more fair. All right. So that takes care of that. And we're going to end this video and continue with a new video for the rest of the homework.